move to waive reading and approve the minutes of December 14, 2023, board of Alderman meeting.
Second.
Motion is made in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 5.1 Finance Committee, there are no items. Item 5.2 Public Health and Safety Committee, there are no items. Item 5.3 Street Committee, we have 531 4446 Oak Avenue sidewalk reimbursement request.
Move for the recommendation of the street committee to approve a reimbursement in the amount of $4,771.02 made payable to, I'm gonna pronounce Hamidin, 66A Howell Avenue, Shelton, Connecticut, 06484, for the repair of the sidewalk at 44-46 Oak Avenue, per ordinance number 877, section 14-9 of the Code of Ordinances, with funding to come from the sidewalk reimbursement account.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion?
Is it normal that we have to approve them to spend money that's already in the reimbursement account?
Oh,
Money's already there, so is it just, we have to review it every one, or?
well, I think it's just for the record, for the benefit of the full board that we do this, but I think you're probably right. We don't have to do it. It's already appropriated, but
Okay.
someone should approve an expenditure that's going out for public improvement.
Otherwise, it would be if the committee approving the expenditure, and you don't want that. You want the full board to approve the expenditure.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like the full board approved it when the
Right.
budget was set.
Right.
I agree, it should be,
Yeah.
someone should be looking at make sure it's being spent right, it's just, but anyways, it's fine.
Well, I don't know, maybe the ordinance calls for that. I'm not familiar with the ordinance at this point. It's been a long time since I looked at it, so it's.
Yeah, it's
The ordinance-
just
the ordinance may
just a minor
require.
question, we can just move on.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none. Report of the mayor. Normally I have a lot of dialogue during the course of the agenda, so I don't really say too much in this portion, but I think it's important to recognize Shelton's designation that came our way this week, and I think everybody get a copy of this?
Yes, sir. Yeah. We all got it.
And I think it's pretty telling because it's none of us who are saying it. It's coming from an outside source, and look, this isn't the first time that we've been recognized, but I think for your benefit, you should know that. And I don't know, we had any, Ben, you had your hand, do you want to?
Yeah, I would just like to say, good evening, everyone. My name is Ben Perry. I live at 80 Perry Hill Road, Shelton, Connecticut. I'd just like to recognize Shelton's ranking this week by Wallet. I really do. As being number one small city in Connecticut, number 99 out of all 1,300 cities across the entire country. There's definitely something to be said for that. Absolutely. Shelton was not only Connecticut's top community on the list, but top 100 countrywide. I'm very happy to see it's not only my thoughts, but the thoughts of national publication. We'll help compare 1,321 cities with populations between 25,000 and 100,000 across 5 key dimensions. Yeah, well done, guys.
Yeah, oftentimes, especially during the election season, we beat ourselves up. The Board of Education gets a bad rap every budget year over expenditures, but I think in the lump sum total, when you see what we spend on the infrastructure that is not included in the Board of Education's budget, it's a significant number. This year is a good example of that. We gave them $2.5 million in their operating budget, and I don't know what the number is. I'm getting the number, but I gotta believe it's close to another $2 million in infrastructure improvements that we made. Not to mention the money that we appropriate for technology. So, for all these naysayers out there, okay, this is the rebut, I guess.
Well, and the irony is that it's not a local designation, it's national in scope. It's somebody who doesn't know what's going on here in terms of politics and so forth, and they don't care. They're looking at things, but I want to point out one thing that I read in here, and I think is significant. One of the hardest markers are the Board of Education on themselves. They're hell bent and they want to do the right thing and get kids the best education. And this puts in perspective and says that they are doing a good job. The Board of Education is doing a good job in educating our kids, and they have nothing to be held back and be ashamed of. They're recognized from somebody that they don't even know. You know what I mean? So God bless them and keep up the good work. That's nice.
Anybody else have anything they want to say, want to add?
I just would like to point out about some of the public safety initiatives that Shelton has done. The Code Red helps notify people, whether it's something to do with police enforcement or weather related, et cetera, that's helpful. And the police officers have attended job fairs, the colleges to recruit some good talent there. We have a presence in the growing downtown area, and I think that's also good. So I think as far as safety, considering what's going on now at the national level, I think we do a pretty good job with our current city.
So do others.
And Your Honor, for many years, we were in the top 25% of, the safest cities. We're now the 9th safest city, according to the regulator, the state of Connecticut. I think that's a big feather in our cap, because it goes to the downtown area, but the whole city itself is being carefully adjudicated being watched by our police. And we have a great great ambulance crew in Echo, and our 4 fire departments, they're all volunteers. They turn out fantastic for us. So you can't, I know they're looking for recruits, but according to Chief Jones, things are going well. They always seem to be able to do the job and get it done, whether it's on the water, it's wherever we are. Give them a lot of credit, because there's some tough areas like down by the river, to get to, things like that. Some tough corners here and there in some of the in Pine Rock, they seem to get it done. I give them a lot of credit for that. Thank you.
A lot of dedication and sincerity on the part of all those volunteers. They really do deserve a round of applause.
So in the spirit of the conversation, this is not an opinion. This is when I was walking the streets and residents, I asked them, what do you think of Shelton? And she said to me, when I say I'm from Shelton, they know us. And there was a period where Shelton wasn't recognized, not only by in Connecticut, from New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia. And she said to me, we're recognized. And the second part I'd like to say, this doesn't happen overnight. These recognitions don't happen overnight. This is vetted out by organizations that we have I don't know who they are. So thank you to the prior people that have established this platform.
Well, nothing happens overnight, and I think the significant evidence of that is downtown. What it looked like 30 years ago, what it looks like today. Our finances. When I tell people we're going to retire our debt in a year and a half to 2 years, they're speechless. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to spend money, because we are. There's always things to do. There'll always be capital projects that need tending to. As you know, we're putting a roof on what is it? Is it Booth Hill? Or Booth Hill or Mohegan?
It's Mohegan.
And then a window project.
project.
Yeah, a window, the public improvements building committee.
Yeah, the window project from the thing, Mohegan and Long Hill.
But I think it's, when you look at the overall, it's $475 a household. That is, our debt is very low compared to what other things are. I agree with the federal, the state is phenomenal. So we're really working hard. It goes, as it was said before, the people that came before us and, working hard and planning these things, so they would be this way at this far, up river. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move along then. That will take us to legislative old. Item number 6, there are no items. Financial business old, there are no items. Number 7. Financial business new. We have 8.1 is October statutory refunds.
Move that the reporting tax collector relative to the refund of taxes for a total amount of $8,579.77 be approved, and that the finance director be directed to make payments in accordance with the certified list received from the tax collector. The funds come from the statutory refunds account. So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion is made, seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8.2 is funding for student transportation.
Move to approve an amount of $45,000 for the purchase of stock parts, including engines and transmissions for the student transportation vehicles. The funding to come from contingency general account. So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Discussion.
Are there some buses that are down? Is that why we're buying these?
Well, no, we're, coming off the pandemic, we had a lot of issues and not just us, not just buses, but everybody and everything is trying to get the backlog for parts and things. And so, our fleet is approaching 10 years old and, we spent a lot of money on maintenance last year, more than we have in the past, and that's to be expected. At some point in time, very soon, we're gonna be looking at buying new buses. And, we're not gonna buy 60 all at once, but we're gonna phase them in, but. So it was our thought that mine and Brian Roach's and Billy Zelinski, that we would. Be ready if an engine or a transmission went down, we'd have it on the shelf. The downtime for that bus is a lot less than if we just waited in that order. So these are spare stock parts.
To keep the buses on the road.
Right, to eliminate the downtime.
Yeah, good.
Okay, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.3 is the Connecticut Recreational Trails Program Grant.
Be it resolved that the Mayor Mark Taylor be and is hereby authorized to accept on behalf of the city of Shelton a Connecticut Recreation Trails Grant in the amount of $113,000 for the design and engineering services of the Housatonic Riverwalk from 223 Canal Street through 267 Canal Street, and appropriate the required matching share of $28,250 with funding to come from the automatic bonding pursuant to section 7.16 of the city charter. So further resolved that the Shelton Economic Development Corporation has been tasked to administer the Connecticut Recreation Trails Grant and performs all activities to carry out the program work as specified in the grant contract as provided by the Connecticut DEEP, Bureau of Outdoor Recreation, State Parks Division. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion?
I think this goes to the article that we go after the grids to get things done and help keep our costs down. Excellent.
Well, it's been a big week for us, a big 2 weeks, in terms of being a grant recipient. And I was with the governor on Sunday at the Columbus Day Parade in Bridgeport, and I personally thanked him for his support for the $2 million for Canal Street, and then the $500,000 for the field up at Shelton High School. Those are going to pay dividends for us and for the state. So.
The governor's been very cooperative and positive with us, hasn't he?
He's been great. Look at it. He's given us $7.5 million in the last year and a half.
Yes.
Why, why would I say anything other than that?
That's right. Nothing but a good positive relationship. Applaud it.
Oh, we did it with several other governors too, Your Honor. We got to.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.4 is the funding for the ArcNet controller for the senior center HVAC.
Move to appropriate an amount of $25,000 for the purchase and installation of the ArcNet controller for the heating, ventilation, air conditioning system at the senior center with funding to come from the automatic bonding pursuant to section 7.16 of the city charter. Further authorize Mayor Mark Ready execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate same.
Second.
Pretty straightforward, you know, it's, I think it's a 20-year-old part or more in,
I happened to be there the day that had the songsters, senior songsters were making a presentation. The place was full. It was raining outside. It was air conditioning inside. So the senior director, everybody was complaining, they were freezing. The director called, what's the guy's, the maintenance guy's name?
Chris.
He called Chris. Chris sends a guy over, he was up on top of the roof in the rain. And he pulls this part and says, that's what it is. And he switched it, took it out and that shut down the air conditioning. When I saw this, I said, oh my God, what goes around comes around.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.5, it says the funding for the assembly of the storage building at Shelton High School.
Move for the finance director to waive the bidding process for the assembly of the storage building at Shelton High School in an amount of $58,500. And note, funding to come from Board of Aldermen's $200,000 appropriation made on June 29, 2023 for Board of Education maintenance projects. The money we taken from the American Rescue Plan funds was taken from there and we're taking another 200,000.
All those in favor?
I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
About the note specifically, but when we approved that, $100,000, we had a list of $200,000 of things to spend it on. This 58,550 doesn't appear to be on that list. So is there actually money in that $200,000 left to be taken?
No, I asked him to use up his $200,000 first, and then when he's done, because some of these projects, you know, he's given us estimates, and sometimes, you know, it comes in lower. So I told him when he gets to the end, you know, come back to us and we'll take a look at it.
So there is actually money to be grabbed there. That was my main concern.
Well, no, look, we wouldn't be waiving the bid and not appropriating money if the money wasn't there. So.
Oh, yeah, I was just asking if we have knowledge that it's actually there. Otherwise, I don't want us to be, you know, approve this and then like, oh, there's no money there and we got to do a second thing, you know, or delay it.
I'm sure they'll be back to us with other things. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Item 8.6, the appointment of the Public Improvements Building Committee to oversee the construction of the new multipurpose synthetic turf field at Shelton High School.
Move pursuant to Charter Section 5.3.2 to authorize the Public Improvement Building Committee, BIBC, to oversee the construction of a new multi-purpose synthetic turf field at Shelton High School's lower field at 120 Meadow Street. So,
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Pretty straight,
Chairman of the Public Improvement Building Committee here.
pretty straightforward. All those in favor?
Aye.
I ignored you, John.
This is going on the field down below, the soccer field.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay, is there legislative news? There are no items from public hearing. I guess we have one item for executive session. Okay, and so I would entertain a motion to go into executive session with corporation counsel.
Second.
You don't need anybody else, right, Fran? Okay.
You want to invite,